Tales from the Terran Republic, grabbing another piece. So where do we stand? Shelia asked as another platter of sushi was delivered to their table. The last job gave us some breathing room. We didn't fully achieve our mission, but 16 million should get us there, excluding all of the hardware Jesse claims is needed, Greg said as he helped himself to some sashimi. It is needed, Jesse chirped. We are talking about a complete virtual recreation of the White Star. This isn't some VR game bullshit. This is the real deal. A true virtual model down to the nanogram and nanometer that will act exactly like the real thing, down to the temperature of each wire and RPM of each rotor. That's a pretty tall order. Add to that recreation of all of the AIs and other control software, plus standard intelligence and personality modeling of the security personnel. And now it's getting tricky. Top that with complete physics and hyperphysics modeling good enough to predict not only exactly how it will react, but what the force and strains will be across a ship of that size. Fuck. Now it's fun, she babbled. I mean, we could cut a few corners, but we could also blow up when we try to jump or wind up actually lost in space instead of kinda lost in space. The lost in space part doesn't concern me, Tsunkal said as he dipped some yellowfin into soy sauce. I can probably get us out of that bind. The blowing up part doesn't sound fun, though. Yeah, you are the Lord of the Void Jump, Gloria said as she sipped some sake. You've jumped into and out of interstellar space more times than anyone else has many times over. How do you do it? Most people would have cashed in their chips by now. By knowing hyperspace, Tsunkal chuckled as he went for the salmon. Most navigators don't really know hyperspace, not really. They are just equipment operators, no offense. None taken. You are absolutely right. You have to know hyperspace, embrace it, Tsunkal said, buzzing quietly. And to embrace hyperspace is to embrace madness. Void jumps are terrifying, and terror makes people timid. It's too easy to shrink back and blindly rely on ship's readouts and what some computer tells you is the right thing to do. That won't work. That will get you killed. You have to measure things yourself by hand. You have to calculate things yourself by hand. The answer you get will be wrong. Every instinct you have will tell you it's wrong. The computer will tell you that it's wrong. That right there is what kills the void jumper. They trust their fear and they trust the computer. Do that and you are dead. You trust your skill, your measurements, and your math, nothing else. So what exactly kills you? Eno asked. I just know that a void jump equals never making it home again. They just keep missing. Well, yeah, Tsunkal said, sipping some tea. That is one way to go. Someone just keeps jumping and jumping, making the same mistakes over and over until the ship runs out of energy or the drive breaks, but that's not the only way. When you are jumping in and out of real space, you aren't just dealing with location. The whole universe is moving. You are moving when you go into hyperspace, and you will be moving when you leave. A perfect jump would have absolutely no change in acceleration from beginning to end, but no jump is perfect. That is why you hear a ship groan or you feel that weird lurch when you pop out. The ship and everyone and everything in it is catching back up to real space-time. Screw it up, and that little lurch can be a few thousand Gs and everyone goes smush, or that little groan is a spin or a twist that tears the ship apart. Jesus, Eno said. Of course, there is another possible outcome, Tsunkal said with a chuckle. There is also the distinct possibility that you could enter hyperspace and never leave at all. It would be just the same as running out of energy or starving, but I think it adds a new level of dread to the whole thing. If you die outside of the universe, what happens to your soul? Okay, now you are just fucking with us, Greg said. Nope, Gloria said as she knocked back some more sake. That can happen. Probably won't, but it can. Shit. Okay, we want Jesse and Tsunkal to be happy before we do this one. But wait, Robert said as he grabbed the better part of a tuna roll. Didn't Tsunkal say that computers were worthless? I said that a normal navcomp can't be trusted, not that computers are worthless, Tsunkal said around a mouthful of nigiri. Most people don't know what a navcomp really is. It is basically a very, very detailed database of star systems. It determines your exact location and velocity based on the known parameters of the system you are in. It then accesses its memory to get the exact location and velocity of your destination, and then it uses a few boiled-down, highly specialized equations that are completely dependent upon a lot of assumed information. The AI crunches down digital equivalents of what really aren't digital equations, and then converts all of that back into analog signals that the actual hyperdrive uses, and then you go pop. As an added bonus, both the star that you are leaving from and the one that you are going to both leave little dimples in space-time that make stopping, starting, and the math all that much easier. A void jump is completely outside of its normal operating parameters. All of them have an emergency function that tries to compensate if it winds up in the void, but it is woefully under-equipped for it. I think they should just leave it out myself. Yeah, Jesse babbled. To get a real true super-duper hyperspatial navigation computer, you would need one hell of a supercomputer. I don't mean like Bunny's home. I mean a real supercomputer, maybe one bigger than anything currently running. And then the software. Jesus. That would have to be one hell of an AI. It would be a monster before we even considered. I'm gonna have to stop you there, Shelia said, waving a hand in front of Jessie. My head's already full. Are we going to actually have to make one of these super nav comps? Oh, fuck no, Jessie chirped. God, no. Nothing nearly as much as all that. We just need to make a simulacrum of the White Star, a real live virtual recreation of the vessel, perfect in all respects. With that, we can do spatial and hyperspatial modeling and testing. It's a completely different thing. It's much easier, and Bunny can do it with the right software, all of which is easily obtainable. Basically, Tsunkal said as he waved down the server for another order. With Jessie's dream machine, we could easily test maneuvers and go into and out of hyperspace virtually before we do the real thing. It would also come in really handy during the actual job as well. I think Jessie is kind of hard to follow, but she says it will. I still don't see the difference, Shelia said, downing some more sake. It's a huge difference, Tsunkal said, buzzing happily. The main difference between what Jessie and I envision and what you would consider a navigational computer is mainly that the hyperspatial physics in relation to space-time— Okay, stop. Just fucking stop, Shelia said as she poured more sake. The whole plan hinges on this working. Tsunkal, Jessie, can you do it? Yappers, Jessie chirped. Tsunkal nodded confidently. What do you need to make this happen? Well, Jessie said with a grin, you know that thing, the thing that I want. You finally have an excuse that justifies us getting it, don't you? Yep, Jessie chirped with glee. Dr. Slocum was giving a recent donor a tour of the Advanced Orbital Observatory Farsight, the only remaining structure Astor University had intact following the Terran War. He normally hated catering to donors, but he was really enjoying himself this time. Miss Parker was fun, smart, and engaging. The fact that she was drop-dead gorgeous didn't hurt either. And here it is, the Astor supercomputer, he said with pride. When the Terran animals entered the system, some very brave men and women lost their lives saving this wonder. As long as we have this, he said as he lovingly stroked the case, Astor University remains alive. All of our records, all of our research, all of our archives, everything. We were able to transfer it all to this miracle before the bombs fell. He paused, choked up with emotion. They destroyed our campus, but they did not destroy our spirit. Our spirit, he said as he touched the case once more. Our spirit is right here. Amazing, the woman said as she beheld the supercomputer. And it's so small, you would think that it would be huge. It may be compact, but it is one of the most advanced quantum supercomputers in the Federation, Dr. Slocum said proudly. Pound for pound, it outperforms most computational devices in the Federation and thus the entire galaxy. There is no way that the outdated Empire could produce something like this, he said proudly. And it goes without saying that those Terran animals couldn't even come close. They probably couldn't even figure out how to switch it on, he laughed. No doubt, the woman laughed. With this, he said regarding the supercomputer fondly, we have managed to remain operational and even continue classes. We have lost all of our classrooms, but with this supercomputer we have been able to switch everything to online. All of our professors and students can interface with this, and with VR it's completely like a traditional setting, he said proudly. That's not something to brag about in and of itself. But the fact that we are able to do it with our entire university simultaneously, as well as completely simulate all labs allowing our full range of classes, is noteworthy. It's a shame that we have to use this wonder for such mundane tasks, but until we can rebuild our damaged infrastructure, such things have become its primary function. He turned to smile at his guest. We are even donating capacity to other educational institutions across the system. Countless primary and secondary schools are able to operate in a virtual environment just as we are. Those Terran dogs just wasted their ammunition. Just this one little thing does all that. Truly marvelous, the woman said in an impressed voice. It does far more than that. It is also able to perform many essential tasks for the system's government as well. As you are no doubt painfully aware, the Terran bastards in their so-called infrastructure raids destroyed vital governmental systems at all levels. With this, he stroked the supercomputer's case with love. We have greatly reduced the impact of the damage system-wide. The entire system was able to transfer vital operations to this miracle. Communications, emergency services, space traffic control, law enforcement, as well as all normal operations of the system's government are all hosted right here. Believe it or not, after all of that, we still have plenty of capacity to perform some of the research for which this thing was created. Truly remarkable, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Slocum said, preening with pride. With this one machine we are able to keep the spirit of Astor University alive during these dark days while we rebuild, and we are rebuilding thanks in no small part to generous donors like you, Miss Parker. Please, Doctor, the woman said as she drew a tiny pistol from her pocket. Call me Gloria. Why John likes Axlea, a transcript. This is a transcript of the classified meeting of the Federation Security Council, the Federation Defense Force, and Federation Intelligence that was held prior to the ill-fated invasion of the Terran Republic, and why John and Toby like Director Axlea, Director of Federation Intelligence, Director Axlea. Gentle beings, this is the absolute dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard come out of any of your voice holes, and that is saying something. This is a joke, right? This has to be a fucking joke. Tell me that you assholes are kidding. Head of the Federation Security Council, Councillor Gieskal. Please watch your language, Director. And yes, this is the decision that the Federation Security Council and the Federation Defense Force have made. We will launch an attack upon the Terran Republic. Now is the perfect time to strike. Chief of Staff, Federation Defense Force, General Mulksor. We are confident that we can achieve a quick victory and force. Director Axlea, laughing. You are out of your fucking mind. A quick vic, Councillor Gieskal. It was not your turn to speak. General Mulksor had the floor. Director Axlea, I don't fucking care who has the fucking floor. There is no such thing as a quick victory against the fucking Terrans. They don't do that. They have never done that and they never will do that. A quick fucking victory. What the fuck is wrong with you people? You can't seriously be this fucking stupid. Councillor Gieskal, we have an obligation to intervene when such widespread suffering is taking place. The people of the Terran Republic deserve to be free. This so-called republic is in fact a despotic oligarchy comprised of the leadership of Zeus Industries and several other powerful Director Axlea. Cut the carp shit, Counselor. There isn't any press here to admire your plumage. Let's call it what it is. Nobody here is happy with the new military alliance between the Empire and the Republic. I'm not happy with it. You aren't happy with it. It sucks. Once they regain their strength, they will definitely be stronger than we can ever hope to be without making some drastic, painful changes to our economy. It's happening. Live with it. Besides, it's really nothing more than a formality anyhow. All of our simulations have clearly predicted a military alliance when either the Empire or the Republic were actually threatened. They are too intertwined for anything else to take place. They have been all but the same economic entity almost since the moment the shooting stopped. The only chance we had to stop that was to get them to join, but we fucked that all up, didn't we? Security Council member Councillor Morgan. Hey, legitimate grievances had to be addressed before any serious... Director Axlea. Carp shit. Apparently, unlike anyone else here, I actually know what happened during the Sol Wars. And to be honest, them agreeing to not killing all of you was about the best thing that we could have reasonably asked for. There was no fucking way your legitimate grievances would be considered. And before you even start, there was also no fucking way we could have liberated the system either. These are hollows of the surface of Terra, Mars, and Luna taken during the Terran War of Independence. Look at them. Look, this was the state of their system, and they were not only still fucking fighting, they were fucking winning. They were beating down the fucking Empire. They brought them to their knees. They brought them to their knees without their army, without their fleet, without a fraction of the industrial capacity that they have today. If you have never listened to me before, do it now. We do not want a war with the Terran Republic. General Mulksor. We have carefully considered all possible outcomes and tactics that the greatly weakened Republic can take, and based on their standing army and navy, and even with their overrated industrial capacity, victory is assured. If you will actually read my strategic assessment, you will clearly see, Director Axlea. You can take your so-called strategic assessment, shove it repeatedly up your ass. It will be a much less savage of a fucking than you will get the second one of your ships enters Terran space. General Mulksor. Even they, with all of their greatly overestimated combat ability, cannot hope to prevail considering the difference in the size and strength of our fleets. They will be crushed in a matter of days. Director Axlea. You have to be absolutely the dumbest fucking slug to ever wear a uniform if you possibly think that. A matter of days. Are you fucking serious? You stupid Councillor Gieskal, Director. You will remember where you are and what your place is. Director Axlea, my fucking place? My place is to safeguard the Federation and ensure that its interests are secure. That is really fucking hard to do when you assholes want to drive the whole thing off the cliff. That is the Republic. These Terrans aren't like our fat and pampered humans, these things. Councillor Morgan. Just because you are for some reason afraid to... Director Axlea. You are creator damn right, I'm afraid. These Terrans aren't like us. You, of all people, Councillor Morgan, should realize exactly what these monsters really are, but you are too blinded by greed. Council Morgan. Excuse me? Director Axlea. I'm the Director of Federation Intelligence, both foreign and domestic. I, like anybody else here save the General, know full well who will be gaining the most from the laughs, victory. It will be you and your associates. I seriously question why you are even here. If you had the barest shred of ethics, you would recuse. Councillor Gizkal, Director, that is enough. Director Axlea sighs. Look, it's my job to know exactly what is going on in the Federation, and unlike a lot of you, I actually do my job and do it well. Certain individuals, including many sitting here today, have already started to carve up the Terran Republic for themselves, and are apparently too blinded by the credits dancing before them to be thinking clearly. I won't name any names and never will, but this will not go well for you, for any of us. The Republic, its people, its military, and the pure adulterated evil that it is capable of should never be underestimated. Councillor Gizkal, that evil is exactly why. Director Axlea laughs. There is some evil that you seek, and there is some evil that you want no part of, and the Terrans are the latter. Have any of you actually studied the Terrans? I have. It's my job. Those beings aren't like us. Their history is one of pure hell, and they were the winners each and every time. Here is a photo of a noted philanthropist and activist. Look behind her. Those are engraved human skulls on her bookshelf, and she is one of the good ones. They kill each other for fun. Here, this is a diagram showing their per capita rates of violent crime. Look at it. This is normal for them. Here is a photo of some Terran police. That's not riot gear. They aren't responding to some unusual freakish event. That is what they wear every single day, and do you know why? It's because they have to. Do you know what their favorite sports are? Tune into their sports channel at least once before we do this, please. Do you know what they consider a perfectly fine sport for not only their high schools, but even their elementary schools? Paintball. It sounds a lot gentler than it is. It's simulated ground combat using marker projectiles, and they play for keeps. Speaking of their primary and secondary schools, tactics and strategy are part of their regular curriculum. That's right. The average Terran civilian has more tactical training the day they graduate from their mandated education than most of our ground forces ever get, and they are armed. All of them. It's why their police wear combat armor. Furthermore, I've looked at your so-called strategic assessment, and you don't even take civilians and civilian shipping into account, and that is a huge mistake. These aren't some long-suffering populace who pray for our help. Save that cop shit for the press. These are some very well-armed and well-trained people who like things exactly the way that they are and will fight us. Those civilian vessels, all of them are armed by law. A Terran ship has to be armed or readily armable. At the very least, they are fitted with compliance tubes, boxes or tubes preloaded with a missile completely ready and able to fire. You need to expect a lot of those compliance tubes, and I mean a lot of them. Councillor Gizkal, General, is this true? Are all of them armed? General Mulksor. Yes, but I don't consider an untrained, undisciplined mob of civilians a threat to our well-trained and equipped forces either on land or in space. Most will retreat or surrender when faced with a real threat. A few stray bullets or missiles won't. Director Axlea, laughing. The Empire thought the same way not that long ago, you know. General Mulksor. The Empire didn't know of the guided missile threat, and we do. All of our vessels are perfectly capable of shooting down a rocket. Director Axlea, a rocket, sure. How about 1,000 of them all at once? People, this is going to be ugly. The most probable outcome is that we will lose and lose big. You say that you considered all possible tactics. You haven't. We don't think like they do. Not even I know what they will do, but I know it will suck and that we aren't ready for it. We simp, Councillor Morgan, sneering. You don't know what they will do? I thought it was your job to know. Director Axlea, I know my job, asswipe. I know them well enough to know that none of us, even you porkies, truly know what they are capable of. You Councillor Gizkal, shouting, Director, such language is uncalled for. That is a very distasteful slur and one that I am shocked, no outrage to hear coming from you. This will be reported. Director Axlea, report away. When someone is acting like a slur, I call them a slur, Featherhead. We are standing on the brink of possibly the biggest mistake in centuries, and you are focusing on my fucking language. Don't you fucking get it? Billions of us are going to fucking die because you are blinded by pride, greed, and convenience. They are going to murder us by the billions. And this, Director Axlea gestures at the tactical assessment. There is no mention of the Sovngarde, the Alduin, the Akatosh, or the Talos. Where are the carriers, malice and spite? Only the carrier group hostility is listed at half strength. You are missing some of their most dangerous capital ships. General Mulksor, you claim to know your job, give me the same courtesy. You should know that they are not present in any of the Republic systems or anywhere else. We assume that they were lost or are no longer spaceworthy. Your own reports concerning these vessels indicate that they were heavily damaged to the point of not being serviceable. Director Axlea, sighing heavily. General, have you ever heard of the Terran Grand Dry Docks? We have never found them, and we know for a fact. General Mulksor, the Terran Grand Dry Docks are a myth. If anything of that scale existed, we would definitely know by now, if you were doing your job, that is. Director Axlea. Okay, I don't know where they are. That being said, I know for a fact that they exist. They exist, and that is where all of those ships are currently being repaired. I also know that construction of at least one other carrier, the Retribution, was planned and underway, and nothing like that has been found either. I'm telling you that those ships are still out there. It's beyond stupid to General Mulxor. I've had enough, and so has everyone else here. The attack on the Republic will take place. Councillor Jizkal agreed. We are getting nowhere. Unless you have some actual intelligence, not some fairy tale, that drastically changes the strength of the Republic's actual forces, then we are done here. I trust you will do your part. Director Axlea sighs. Idiots. Fuck. Okay. Yes. I will of course continue to do my job to the best of my ability, regardless if I am actually listened to or not. I will support General Mulxor and the rest of the Defense Force as best as I can. Nothing will please me more than to admit I was wrong about this. Creators, I hope that I am wrong. General Mulxor, I know that you are wrong, Director. When can I expect your report concerning current locations and strength of our enemy, and any actual opinion-free input concerning our current plan? Director Axlea, you will get it first thing in the morning, General. You realize that all of you are about to fuck the Federation hard, don't you? Councillor Jizkal, we have all tired of your opinions regarding this, Director. From now on, please restrict your statements to facts and figures and leave policy to those above you. Director Axlea, oh, by all means, let the record show that I am in no way involved in this policy decision. This is all on you. If you will all excuse me, I have a very successful first strike to help plan. Fucking idiots. Councillor Jizkal, Director, you are on notice. Continued disrespect or insubordination will threaten your position. The attack is approved and will proceed according to the timeline laid out by General Mulxor and the rest of the Federation Defense Force. This meeting is adjourned. Director Axlea, fine. For the record, if you find someone better suited to my job, give it to them. I was eligible for retirement over 10 years ago. The only reason that I'm still here is that I just happen to give a shit about the Federation, so fuck all of you. However, you might just want to wait to fire me for a little bit so you can throw me to the beach once this all blows up in your faces. Might be the only way to save your asses once the torches and gaff hooks come out. Councillor Jizkal, I said that the meeting was adjourned, Director. Transcriber's note. The meeting was adjourned. However, Director Axlea continued to say some very rude, unprofessional, offensive, and disrespectful things as she left. She also struck the door with one of her transportation bot's arms hard enough to damage it. This damage will be billed to Federation intelligence.